Hi, YouTube. I got a little bit of news for you. I'll tell you that in case you want to hit the road, and then I'll tell you about my day. so, okay, I heard on the news, my local news, I'm sure it was nationwide, but Microsoft and AI and beer. So, what is artificial intelligence doing with beer? Well, that's going to allow Microsoft to use their artificial intelligent software programs um, to come up with better tasting beers and different types of things, is what I heard on the news. And they're going to uh, use these programs, these computers, to enhance their beer making abilities. Wow, that's really important. I just talked to a woman today that has a nephew with a diminished lung capacity and wasn't even supposed to live till 8, and he's 12 now, thank God. And he's got cystic fibrosis. So this poor little guy, uh, kids die from it, people die from it, but they're worried about the best beer. Oh yeah, that's so important, you know. Fucking idiots. Excuse my language. Um, then I heard one of our not well, our news the other day. YouTube wasn't working. I think because it was getting like everybody was on there or something. My videos have been uploading slow, and I saw Bruce Seasall couldn't even upload his video um last night, or it took him like forever. He was trying and it wasn't letting him. So don't know what's up with that, but he's probably 400 miles away in Canada as the crow flies from me. So I don't know, maybe something's up with that, the power. um Okay, so, but anyway, I guess two of our local restaurants in Minneapolis, not local to me, but like 80 miles away, um, have a new tax. And I heard something else in other states that they were doing this for healthcare for the employees. They just put another few bucks or whatever it is on the bill, and that's the healthcare tax in that restaurant. And the people that were in there, um, I'm thinking, yeah, all a bunch of little baby Masons patronizing a Mason restaurant is what it made me feel like. But that's just my opinion. Um, but anyway, so it's like, well, I don't know. Better be awfully good food before I'm going to pay for somebody else's health care. But whatever. No, I mean it. You go out for a meal and things are expensive as it is for the average Joe, So anyway, if you even get to go out for a meal, that's a rarity in a lot of people's lives. That's a reality. Or it's a treat when you do it, when you're like a young family, or, you know, saving for whatever you're saving for, or whatever you got to do. I know it's hard. So anyway, thought I'd give you the news. There's some of that, and then I'll tell you about my day. It was wonderful. Went out and fed my horse and chickens some grain and watered them, and um, came back in and played my guitar for a while and sang a couple karaoke songs, and then I got out some seeds and some seed starter little pots, and the dirt, and I planted butternut squash, and acorn squash, cucumbers, and tomatoes. So, yeah. So that made my day really, really good. Then I talked to my oldest son in text, and that made it even better. And then my friend Karen called me, and that made it even better. So, all in all, it was a really wonderful day. One of my best in a while. Oh, and then in between that, I got wood in, and fed my chicken and horse again in the afternoon and, early evening. So, and some other things. But yeah. So, yeah, very nice day. So I hope everybody's doing well. Isn't that interesting about the artificial intelligence? What I always think when they say artificial intelligence, I'm thinking because when I went second time to college, it was to learn software application. And I'm thinking to myself, yeah, we can always pull the plug, you know, unless it's solar powered or something sneaky like that, Could be like us. Maybe we're just a bunch of bots and we're like solar powered by the sun, which is probably really close to the truth, although we are real, but we're inside here, you know. Maybe we imagine ourselves in the future. That's how we get there. So, so we imagine being good enough to get there is what it actually is. So imagine God saying, "You might want to ask me nice." you know, what can I say? you know, it's not even a matter of him making you do it. I suppose you don't have to, but it is a lot easier to humble yourself when it doesn't feel like humbling yourself because you do it out of love. So it's like when you're talking to your parent, you're talking sweet because it is out of love. So, yeah, if you're fortunate enough to have a parent to talk to. So, anyway, really, you know, a lot of people don't. And there's a lot of lonely people out there. There's like, this is no exaggeration. I'm like a um, widowers, like even one with kids, like on my Facebook friend and me. It's like, what am I, a widower magnet or something weird like that? I don't know. No, I'm thinking, um, the loneliness. Like I told the one well, I have to tell them, a lot of people. I don't really like being a pen pal. I only have my messenger really to talk to my kids. If somebody from YouTube really, really wanted to get a hold of me with something important, I would respond. It's like one person wanted to tell me some stuff about SJD on there, and I said I know everything I need to know. If it's something new that I haven't heard before, perhaps I'll let you talk, but otherwise I didn't want to hear it. I heard enough about that crap and I know enough about what's going on in the world that I really don't need no second opinions because God speaks to me in my heart. So, yeah. And that's on a second to second basis. So it's like not leaving me lonely or at wanting any information about anything because I'm pretty clear, good to go. If anything bad ever happened, he would let me know. And as it goes, he takes care of me like that, so I don't worry, you know. So, but it's cool to watch people figure it out. It is. It's a little irritating though about the liars. Those ones, I can see them slowly getting back on track. You know, Rex, if you're watching me, because I know you have, um, I'm glad you don't read that Book of the Dead anymore. Keep that sucker closed. You read it once is enough, right? Yeah, because you don't want to influence yourself, um, anybody else, that any kind of spell casting or craft is any good for us because it is forbidden for a reason because it's of Satan. It's his works. Um, that's all I got to say. Glad you closed the book, little brother. You know, so yeah. And I'm glad I heard you say that today because I got some respect back, because you know, Leak Project Rex, he's a respectable dude. He's a little young in his mind, but he knows where he's goofy and lacking. And now I know he's letting God talk to him again. And that's a big deal in people's life. That makes a difference whether I like somebody or not. That's my biggest criteria. If you don't have God in your heart, I do not want anything to do with you. you know? I mean, you could be a very, very nice person, but that to me is God in your heart, whether you know it or not. So that's all I'm saying. If you don't act like a decent person, and I don't mean just passable, I'm talking about when you can stand before me and you look me in my eyes and I'm looking in your eyes and seeing everything you've done since your childhood, um, then if you get the okie dokie from me, it's okay. Then I would want you around me. But when people can't look in my eyes and they're averting here and there and all over the place, and I can show you my eyes what I've been through. Here you go. You know, it's like when people can't do that, what good is it? You're denying a big step of communication only to use it in a wrong way towards unsuspecting people. So then I know who you are. That's all. So yeah, I.e. version, averted, or I invasion. How's that one? So, yeah, people try doing the stare down stuff. And the worst stare down I ever had was Doug. He's a stare down artist for sure. Well, I won't avert my eyes out of shyness, but out of just getting tired of staring at somebody. When I'm like staring like that and it's a stare down, I feel like going right here. Like, just knock that shit off, knock it off, quit, you know. Because um, when I see dark thoughts in there, like I'm going to overpower you, that's what it brings out in me. It's like, or if it's other thoughts that people have, it's like, yeah, I do feel like striking people, but I don't. I totally control myself. Or I'll just tell them I feel like hitting you, or I feel like doing this to you, but I won't. But I mean, I'm just saying the feeling that's coming. I'm, like I say, brutally honest, you know, with myself and everybody else. Whatever happens, happens. That's the way it is, you know? So, anyway, I enjoy it. I love honesty. I love the truth. It's even if it's hard to do, that almost makes it more enjoyable because you conquered something within yourself and you rose above it. And once you rise above that, you're good to go. You know, even if you slip up, it would be a tiny slip because you're like, you can't stand the alternative of the other side of the equation, what it makes you feel like when you don't act right, that type of thing. It's just like somebody that's not contacting um, a parent. I'm not talking about my own here, but somebody else's. Um, it's hard to look people in the eye when you've been a cruddy person. And if both parties have been cruddy, you gotta wait till one isn't anymore to help the other one, kind of, sort of. So, yeah. Or hopefully they both stop being cruddy at the same time. That would be ideal. you know, I heard that's what Christ's gonna do on the planet. Just everybody's gonna have a change of heart. Cannot wait for the day. You know, I don't care if they deserve it or not. They'll be good after that, and then yeah, then they will be deserving. So I'm cool with that. But I'm just going to be mad until this happens because I'm still not going to let anybody act like a fool and not say something about it. If I know or have engaged in conversation with people or whatever the case is. If something arises that's needs to be addressed by the Spirit of God in me, I'm gonna address it. I can't operate any other way. But I know I'm supposed to be out here talking. So, and I do know there's some people that need the reality of true friendship as much as I do too. And that is the number one thing in the world is truth and respect of other human beings, respect of our Father, you know. So realizing, look around us, look at all this. We're breathing air, we're drinking water. And of course, they're messing it up, um, but here's one thing too. Okay, it's springtime, and when you live around bodies of water, it's going to be kind of cloudy, and even more so cloudy till the you're in the thick of summer, in the middle of it practically. And then in the fall, in the northern hemisphere of the United States, it's cloudy again. But so we're lucky if we get like 3 months from May, June, July into August um, of sunny days, like 90 days of sunny weather, maybe. So I heard RFB mentioning, I'm not saying they're not contrailing or chemtrailing the skies, whichever, however, holograms, whatever the case may be. Everybody has their own belief, like flat moon, whatever. Um, Holographic moon, who cares, you know? But the point is, um, nothing has changed in our weather ever. Things alter a little bit, and you can tell the pollution in the air and whatnot. But our weather patterns have not changed. The jet streams have not changed. Um, that's all I'm going to say. Clouds are normal this time of year because of the precipitation, and when it comes up, especially around a lake, like fog and dew in the morning, or in ocean where he lives, you'll see fog in the morning, and then you'll see the sun bake the fog away about 11 o'clock noon, and then it could even go to getting foggy again at night, because then like when dew gets on the grass at nighttime, the whole thing goes round and round every day. So that's the way weather patterns work in the northern hemisphere. So I'm calling bullshit on that one. I don't care. It'll be sunny in Boston in about 2 weeks, and it'll be about 4 weeks here till it's completely sunny. About mid-May, I can plant something. That's um, where I live, so it takes even longer than for him. So it's just like almost straight across as the crow flies. You have well, it's a little more south, but Washington, D.C. already has the cherry blossoms last week. Were in bloom. And it's like, and in New York, they have warmer weather, even though they're just as far north, but they're over by the East Coast. But so their spring hits a little bit earlier. But what I'm saying is, in the springtime, precipitation and clouds is natural to feed and water the crops that are planted. So that's all I'm gonna say. I don't care who says what. I've been there, I've been here, and I flippin' know. I don't care what anybody says. I don't. I don't listen to anybody. So I won't. I refuse. I know better. Seriously. So anyway. So, I mean, I'll listen to people. I don't put a lot of credence in what anybody says, but I listen. You know, I mean, I trust some people for being good people for who they are, but not necessarily everything somebody says that I'm going to say, hey, that's exactly what I think. Although, if it's close enough on the morality and value God scale, then everything else is a pass. It's like, think whatever you want. You want to say we went to the moon. I don't care. Is the earth flat? I don't care what you say. Don't care. I really don't. Doesn't make any difference. I'm sure nobody, no human or human is going to prove that to me before I drop dead. So I don't really care. You know, that's why I just let people argue amongst themselves about that type of thing. I don't even get involved. I just tell them it's all of the above. Everything, anything you want to believe, just whatever you say, whatever is cool with me, you know. So, anyway, might be a little bit of everything, just like I'm saying anyway. So, yeah. Hope it's warm out for you, Karen, on the bus. You'll probably watch this tomorrow. Hope you have safe travels tomorrow and it goes well for you. And so I'm sure it will. Maybe you'll have sunshine, which would make it enjoyable. That would be nice. How's Kim doing? How's your little pregnant offspring doing there? She feeling okay? Yep, I had one, I think the first time, just the shock of having a kid. It was like painful and scary. And I was very, very sick. And then morning sickness all day, practically, the whole time. Then the second time, it's like, oh, I'd have a few little waves here and there of stuff, but nothing near like the first time was. But then again, I did like a lot of hiking, and I even swam up until like well, I was walking constantly, right up in the day before my baby was born. I brought a Christmas tree home. I drug it home. Oh, it's only a couple blocks, but I set it up and decorated it, and then I like went. It was like a few days before, I guess. But I was walking every day right up until and exercising, and I even had special exercises that I do, and so I was very, very active, and that child inside of me was very, very active. There was not an ounce of baby fat on this child when he was born. He was like just a lean, mean fighting machine. I couldn't believe it. He'd like run around inside of me like crazy. And I thought, well, that's what I get for having somebody that's part of me. Whoa, you know, crazy. So active. Unbelievable. It's like jogging in there. And then he ended up doing like running like 12 miles, training. Well, there's no kidding though. His dad used to hold him like this in his hand, and balance the kid like that. And I grab him, I'm like, knock that off. But the baby could do it at a very, little enough to stand in his dad's hand. It's like, holy shit, strong, you know. Yeah. And both of us were into like bodybuilding and whatnot, so we were always very strong anyway. So yeah, it was kind of cool, but I couldn't allow it. It was scary and it was stupid. Anyway, my opinion. Anyway, yeah. Yeah. But I used to do these things I called tadas. I'd take them and I'd put them on my feet and hold their hands and then extend my legs and hold them up there. And they'd straighten out their bodies just like perfectly straight, and I barely let them go, and they had their arms out and they go ta. I used to do that when I was little too. So, and talk about strengthening your core muscles. Then I'd like you use them for leg lifts, you know, stuff like that. So yeah, I had them exercising at a very young age. And then I'd pull the guilt thing on them if they were like sitting there and didn't want to exercise with mom. I'm like, you don't want to be out of shape. Come on now. Stuff like that. Guilt them into it. But anyway, yeah, they're both very strong. I'm really, you know, that's, to be proud in yourself is kind of asinine, but for a parent to not be proud of their child would be doubly asinine. So, yeah, I'm a very proud mom in that respect. So, lucky that my sons were so strong for all they've been through. So, I think the stronger mind, body, and especially um, teaching them who God was when they were very tiny. Um, that was a good protection all their lives. You can't go wrong teaching your child about God, and reminding them, no, we didn't make ourselves. No, we did not. And just having love in our life makes us realize that there's something a little more to everything. So, yeah. Well, I have a feeling that I've had some friends that have prayed for me, and I do want to thank you because I know who you are, and I do appreciate your thoughts of me and your love for me, and I respect and love you back just like that. So thank you. Yeah, thanks for being my friend. You know, so yeah, what a wonderful day. All right, everybody, I'm going to let you go. I just want to let you know that news about the health tax and restaurants. And I mean, in a sense, there's nothing wrong with it, but in another sense, it's kind of puts the perspective of an average family person is actually at poverty level nowadays. And it just puts a strain on society and puts the so-called higher ups in life in one group. It kind of discriminates a little harder against the average person. That's my outlook on that, and I'm sticking with it. So, okay, everybody, I love you very much. Have a good night or day. Peace and love from Pine City, Minnesota, USA.